few other critical points I'd like to point out. If we take these numbers and extrapolate them through the economic analysis using a 1.85% multiplier, when the project is totally complete, the economic impact of the development will be $66 million a year. There's some detailed stats that's in the press kit that take this a little bit further if you want to know how these numbers are calculated. But there is a basis for them, and there's a fundamental formula that's being used to come up with these. If we don't have this zoning in place, we won't have the ability to go out and talk to the national developers that are capable of doing a project this size. There's not 100 companies out there that are vying to do these projects. There's a handful of guys, most of which we've had detailed meetings with over the last couple of years, that are interested in bringing this project to town. But they're not going to come to town unless we have support from the community that the zoning can be in place, we know the interchange is there, then they'll roll up their sleeves and they'll work with us to bring this project to the next level. So the basis behind this meeting is to show that we need support for zoning. Jeff's going to get deep into the land plan and explain why this makes a lot of sense. And he's going to talk a little bit about the difference in the green space and the concrete from what you're used to seeing.
All right, thanks, Rob. I'm Jeff Butler with Butler Rosemary and Partners. I've been working on this project for roughly 10 years. The last 2.5 years, we've been really seriously pursuing the access to 65, because honestly, you can plan all you want, but without that access, it's a dead project. You can't get there. In fact, we figured that if we didn't have access, it'd be hard to develop as single-family residential just because of the poor access it had. But we worked with MoDOT. We hired engineers out of Kansas City that had designed the flyover down south at 6065 and had them actually design this interchange and model the system. We spent 2.5 years, and untold, which untold means I probably shouldn't tell you how much money we spent figuring this out, but we got it done, and the modeling showed some interesting things. Some of the things that I'll point out that we did as a part of it, and the results that showed up on the model. This is where the interchange is, right here. Of course, here's the new flyovers and 6065 interchange. This is what they call a folded diamond, and the distance between the 6065 interchange and Battlefield was always a problem. And the issue with MoDOT was we have to be able to put this in and not affect the traffic, and they call it level of service, at any of the other areas up and down this strip. So that's what the modeling was for. So we did computer simulations. It's interesting that we put this in, and we made a connection out here to the west, and we made a connection over across James River and out into the county at Farm Road 170. We found that 60 traffic actually reduced. You had less people on 60 highway when this link came in, because a lot of people out on the east side that use 60 highway, now we'll take this link and zoom in here, go right on in. Incidentally, this will come down to Lone Pine and ultimately, possibly up the quarry and plug into Republic Road, and that'll take you all the way to Republic. So thinking about an access road that goes from Rogersville to Republic that we don't have now, that improves the traffic here. The people that have access here, with 6 lanes coming in here, and then our own off ramps, in some areas we had 8 lanes there. We were able to do that and not reduce the level of service at any of this area along here. With that, MoDOT agreed to the interchange. And incidentally, for just a round number, that little interchange is $18 million all by itself. It's pretty significant. Now, as far as what we're doing to the property and how it's going to lay out, of course, you see all this nice stuff down here in the lowland area. Here's James River going down into Lake Springfield. This is city utilities property, and this is the floodplain property that is a part of our property, and we kind of envisioned potentially another river cut type of a golf course. You know, no commitments, you know, park board's interested, but no commitments on their part. It could happen, it might happen. Otherwise, it could be just a nice, you know, river trail. We are working with Ozarks Greenways to integrate that into their trail system. Up here on the high side, out of the floodplain, we're looking at this area here in the southeast zone as basically the major retail area. This is where you won't want to call it a mall. It could be an outdoor mall. It could be well, it probably won't be a mall. It'll be some sort of an outdoor retail center, lifestyle center, something like Branson Landing, or those of you that are familiar with Phoenix, Kierland Commons out in Scottsdale, those type of developments. But that would be in that area there. We've got other quadrants. The red is all of the commercial, the retail zoning. The blue would be multifamily. The yellow is residential, low-density residential. Orange would be the office. And the whole idea behind this, and this is what we're pushing on the zoning, is that we're going to actually develop this out so that internally, we have some fairly intense commercial development that will basically create a synergy that will feed on each other. Then as you get farther away and start interfacing with the other residential areas and the community that's out there, we're stepping down. In fact, this is part of what we've envisioned here is this area here, of course, this is all single family here. This is where we would put the first layer of residential zoning. Then we would go in and have a layer of office zoning, which is fairly benign as far as intensity. Then we start stepping up, getting into more intense development that generates a sales tax that makes it go. Let's see, what else have I missed here? Okay, as a part of this, we also, I know someone's gonna ask, we've also prepared a traffic study that has been submitted to the city that actually talks about, okay, all the traffic that's here, where does it go as it filters back into the city? We've already done a traffic study, and the city now has the numbers that knows where all those cars go and how they split up. So we're really dealing with the realities of how this development's gonna work and what it's gonna do for the community. We think the opportunity for this type of development spread over 500 acres, as Rob said, it's a lot of development, but it's not as dense as other developments in the community. But the opportunities to do some really cool stuff is huge. And particularly at this location, which 20 years ago was designated as an entertainment center. And then 10 years ago, I think it's 10 years ago, isn't it, Jim? The Vision 2020 said it's an activity center, or should be. And with this interchange, we can do it. So the bottom line is we're here to basically lay the groundwork for the zoning effort, which we have to bring the developers to the table. We're very excited about it. We really think it's got some great opportunities for the community.